decorating under one roof at Westside Decorating Center. And a good morning to you. Welcome to second hour of the Art Lewis Show. Nice to have you with us today. And we're going to learn about an organization that I must admit I knew absolutely nothing about until I just looked it up, to tell you the truth. It is called Keys of Hope, and there's an interesting story behind it. I must also tell you that this lovely young lady sitting in the studio's name is Anisha Stanley, and I know her husband very well, Ron Stanley. Anisha, good morning.
Good morning.
In all my years of knowing your husband, I never knew that this organization existed. We just never talked about it. There's an organization called Keys of Hope that we're going to learn about today, that Anisha is the founder, and she heads it up. And there's a story behind why it happened. So let's start there. Why this organization, and also give us just a bit of an overview of what the organization does.
Absolutely. Well, the Keys of Hope Foundation exists to support families, bereaved families who've experienced pregnancy and infant loss. We also have a mission where we promote the awareness of pregnancy and infant loss in the Great Lakes Bay region, and we also support those who need maternal and infant health services as well. However, the Keys of Hope Foundation we founded it April 24th of 2019, which would have been the due date of our fifth angel baby that we lost. And so
we should stop there.
Okay.
Can't pass that over. You lost a baby. Was it a miscarriage?
I actually lost 5 babies.
I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
You lost 5 all in miscarriage?
Yes. 3 miscarriages and 2 ectopic pregnancies.
You know, I have to ask this, Anisha. At what point do you say, no more, we're going to adopt?
Ronald and I, we always dreamed of having a big family. And so for us, it wasn't more so about, not wanting to continue to try. We got the green light after, being recovering from, each miscarriage. And I mean, we're married. So, you do what married people do, right? In hopes to have more children. And we do have a rainbow baby, our daughter, who is 10. She'll be 11 in December. We just wanted to, after we had her, because we lost a baby before her, we wanted to just enjoy her for a couple of years. And we did just that. 2 years later, we decided to try to conceive again. And that's when, unfortunately, we started having the consecutive losses back to back. From there, I think it was like when I lost my 5th angel baby. Actually, I thought I lost the baby like a month prior to that. But then when I went to the hospital or to my doctors, they did some testing and thought that my blood work looked a little different, did ultrasounds. Lo and behold, the baby was actually still alive. However, my fallopian tube was erupting and it was connected to the artery to my heart. And so I had less than an hour to be in surgery to pretty much save my life at this point. And so waking up from knowing that, my baby was still alive, but I had to come out of, surgery and recovery. I just really then surrendered to God and just said, what do you want from me? Like, what do you want? I took it off of me. Like, why me? Instead, it was like, what do you want from me?
So I have to ask, and if I get too personal in the questions, just tell me to shut up. Did they ever tell you why you were losing so many? Did they ever come up with an explanation as to why you?
No, I'm perfectly healthy. That's what they've always said. A lot of women are perfectly healthy when they go through experiencing, pregnancy losses. A lot of times with miscarriages, it could be attributed to some chromosomal abnormalities, which will then impact the development stages for the baby. And so for us, we did everything with our doctors, such as a treatment plan, taking progesterone pills and progesterone shots to thicken the uterine lining so that the baby, would attach to the fallopian. I'm sorry, not the fallopian tubes, to my uterus, so that the baby can grow in the uterus. So we did everything that we could do. Overall, just very healthy. But yeah, miscarriages, it has nothing to do with a lot of times with the health of the mother, more so the development.
And it's such an unusual story, and let me explain why I say that. The loss of babies, prenatal and pre-delivery loss in this area, we've always had a very high rate. But a lot of it is traceable to the fact that a lot of women did not get prenatal care, and one thing led to another.
Mm-hmm. That's
not your story. I mean, you did everything right. You went to the doctors continuously. That's just such a shock. It's got to be a shock to your system. And
absolutely.
As I said, I know her husband, Ron, and now that I see pictures of the two of you together with your daughter, I'm going, yeah, that's the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at what point did you decide no more?
In that moment, I, again, just surrendered. As a woman of God, I just asked God, what do you want from me? What do you need from me? And over the course of a couple of months, I just kind of positioned myself to hear what God will have me to know, what purpose would come out of this. And then I began to feel in my heart compassion for other families in our region who will also experience pregnancy and infant loss, and those families who also didn't have resources, because when we were going through our losses, we didn't know anyone in our family who had lost other than his mother, but his mother passed away right before we got married. My grandmother experienced loss, but my grandmother also passed away like a couple years before our consecutive losses. And unfortunately, there's a stigma attached to it. No one is talking about pregnancy and infant loss or miscarriages. And so we suffered in silence, and I suffered with PTSD, depression, actually suicide ideation twice. It was just really heavy and really hard for me to really move forward with that healing process, because losing a baby is so out of order, right? And there's support groups, there's program, there's treatment for those who are widows or widowers, or if you become an orphan, you lose your parents. But there was no support for bereaved families who would experience a pregnancy loss or an infant loss or even a newborn loss. And so I just saw that there was a gap in our community, that there wasn't anything that existed. And literally, I started looking online, and I saw this event, and I think it was like in Florida, and I just craved community. And I was just like, oh my God, I wish I was there, because I need community. I want to be around people who understand me, who get me, who has this lived experience, right? And the more I kept looking at it and longing for it, God began to tell me that it doesn't exist, because I had yet to create it. And I was just like, okay, well, what are you saying? And so literally he just downloaded Keys of Hope in our hearts, in my heart. And I began to tell my husband what I felt like God was asking me to do was to start a support group program. Some of the things that we actually went through, and specifically me through my healing journey, were some of the things that he wanted me to incorporate into our program.
I think, and I'm looking at this as an outsider, obviously, but knowing both of you, I suspect easier is not the right word, because this was not easy for you. But the two of you met in high school.
Yes.
You've been together ever since. And knowing Ron and his personality, and knowing you now, it was an easier road simply because you had him. To some degree.
Mm-hmm.
The word easy is terrible, but it just explains what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we had each other. Not only was it that I was going through the loss, because, I'm the mother, the carrier, the nurturer. I felt, the feelings, the hormonal changes and the pregnancy in my body. And then again, as mothers, we began to quickly start nurturing and connecting and bonding with our babies. But he also, wanted our children as well. And he is the father. And so he was excited, and he was hopeful, and he was expectant as well, because again, these are things we talked about before. becoming married and things like that. And so it helped us to have one another to lean on, to talk to each other about what we were experiencing, what we were feeling, what we were thinking. He saw me through the ups and the downs.
And this was absent in the community.
Absolutely.
Nobody else is doing it.
No.
All right. I have to take a break. When we come back, we will talk more about the foundation, the Keys of Hope Foundation, and what it does, how you can get involved, and all of that. Coming up with Anisha Stanley, and we will do that after these notes here on WSGW. All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. In studio with me, Anisha Stanley, and she is the CEO and founder of Keys of Hope, along with her husband, Ron. So let's talk about the formation of the organization. You went through your trauma for many years. You decided to form this organization. What was it like? This was a little out of your comfort zone, wasn't it?
It was out of my comfort zone because I felt like I wasn't completely healed myself. And how can I provide hope and healing to someone else when I'm still struggling and going through, recovery emotionally, mentally, and physically? And so I think that's the beauty of it, is that we are in community together, and we may be in different stages when it comes to our hope and healing journey and recovery, but we're able to support one another and help each other. And so for me, I just know I wanted to just be obedient to what I felt in my spirit and what I knew God was asking me to do. I felt like it was purpose, and it just really was like a fire in my spirit. And so I stepped out on faith, created the nonprofit, the support group program, reached out to my facilitators, got them on board. Everyone was excited to join this cause with us. And we were able to support, since over the past 6 years, we've been able to support hundreds of families throughout our 12-week program that we go through. But then also a lot of times I meet with some women individually, because not everyone is ready to come to a support group program. And then also our support group program is not like, just a sit around, woe with me. We're continuing talking about, our trauma. I only allow them to share their story one time, because we know why we're here. My main goal is just to provide hope and to provide smiles and hugs and a sacred but safe space for them to share their stories, but also to feel love and to have hope as they move forward.
I want to speculate, Anisha. I'm going to speculate that while, as you've stated, the purpose and why you started the organization, the part you didn't say is this was part of your healing.
It actually was. It was definitely part of my healing. There are so many times, even recently, we have a support group going on now, where I sit there and I'm just in awe of how did I get here? Like, how did I get to this space to be entrusted with their stories and to hear from these women and the couples who are so brave and so strong to share what they're going through. But I glean a lot from them, their strength. I admire their perseverance and their love that they actually also bring to me, their appreciation, and just being able to connect with them. Immediately when I see different names come into our registration form, I just begin to pray for them, because I don't know their stories. I don't know what they've gone through, but I am open to also receiving what God would have for them to speak into my life and to share with me. And so it is definitely a blessing for what we're doing. But yes, I am also filled up, and I've gained a lot of friends and a lot of colleagues from Keys of Hope, and a lot of the women who've gone through Keys of Hope. We still talk to them to this day. So it's just a beautiful thing to still walk with them throughout their journey.
And in most conceptions, there's a man involved.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for men?
Well, we do have a couple of our sessions where they are geared towards the men specifically. They're actually one of my favorite to have, because we do have like a girls' night where just the women come and we do some cool things together. But when the men come, it's always, before they come, their spouses or partners are like, well, my partner is quiet. He doesn't say much. He's not going to really share. But when we get...
But he's there.
But he's there. Yes, but he is there, and that's important to acknowledge. But when we get into these sessions, and they're there with my husband, and then also we do our session with our pastor, his name Joseph Berkebine of Frankenmuth Bible Church. When they get into the session with those two guys and see them in their vulnerability and transparency, sharing their story as husbands and as fathers of angels, it allows them to finally open up. And a lot of these men, they cry and they share. They may say things that they have never even told their partner before. But I think that we've created such a beautiful space and a safe space for them to be able to share. And they can actually identify with another father, another male figure who has gone through this experience. And sometimes this is the first form of some type of therapy or group work that they've actually done. And I love that class because it reunites them together. And my husband and I, we share how losing our babies impacted our marriage, the lows that we've experienced, and then also how we were able to redeem, our marriage through affirmation and through love and affirming one another. And so we do some exercises together, and it's just so beautiful to have them actually do the same exercises that Ronald and I did to strengthen our marriage. And so to give them that tool that they need to help them in their marriage, it's just such a beautiful thing.
Because of the sensitivity of the women involved, because of their losses and everything, I would imagine you have to be careful how you approach it. Where did you get the wisdom to set up the program? Who did you deal with? She smiled.
Honestly, just God. I didn't take a class or anything like that. I just knew what I felt in my spirit that I needed to do. And really, it's just me being genuine and just being honest. A lot of times when you are going through something, no matter what it is, you are looking for community, someone who has lived experience, and we tend to gravitate those who understand that experience because they've gone through it. It may not be exactly the same because, grief and trauma and loss and our life experiences are not cookie cutter. But we tend to gravitate towards those who've had that lived experience. And so, like I said, God just gave me 6 keys of hope to focus on. And these are things that Ronald and I experienced, or that I experienced also personally. And I just started to feel like if I am struggling through friendships, if I am struggling with faith, if I am struggling in my marriage with self-care, and just also struggling to be able to connect with my provider, that really wasn't my story, but it was I want them to be able to meet my doctor, because I believe I have the greatest doctor, Dr. Dwayne Hillbound Jr. I wanted him to be able to come in to be able to provide medical support and terminology and information to those who may need it, because every person does not have a great patient-doctor relationship. And so, again, I just took what we've gone through and put them into a curriculum, into our classes, and they have really been working, and everyone resonates with each topic. And I think it's just really important that I just continue to just start there. And I knew that I could always build upon that as I went along.
I got to take a break, but before the break, if there's a woman out there who has lived through this and is interested in joining the group, what do they do?
They can actually just register. It is free. You can go to keysofhopefoundation.com and click on support group and just register, and then I'll send them the registration information.
All right, we'll take a break, come back with Anisha Stanley right after these notes here on WSGW. And I must ask, how did you sleep last night? Because, we're asked to do more for less today. And theoretically, when you go to bed and you spend 8 hours, third of your life there, you need quality sleep. And you can get it with a quality mattress from Sanitary Mattress. Now, you can visit all the so-called sleep stores, or you can rest assured your mattress is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region to your specifications. Your time in bed may be cut short by today's demanding world, but you can still get a quality good night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. They feature 1-hour window delivery of your mattress to your home. And if you have an RV or a boat, Sanitary Mattress will custom make a mattress for you, something the box stores can't do. Visit the Sanitary Mattress factory and showroom at 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, just east of the Harry Brown Airport. Visit them online at sanitarymattress.com or call them at 989-753-1757. Sanitary Mattress, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 1935.
This October, visit
Birth, and a couple of questions come to mind. Any organization takes money to run. How are you funded?
Solely on donations. I also write grants. So we are open to receiving donations, and if anyone has any grant ideas out there, please send them my way. However, getting started, a lot of it was just me reaching into my own pockets because I just really wanted to show up for these families in any way that I could, and I didn't want to let finances be a limitation or a barrier for me to be able to support them. I know what I needed when I was going through healing and grief and loss, but I wasn't able to get that sometimes. And so, I just tapped into my own savings and used my own money a lot of times.
Now, are you a 501c3 now?
Yes, we are.
And they can find out more online, right?
Yes.
Keys of Hope Foundation
.com.
So, in doing the work you're doing, where do you meet if you have support groups? Is it online or is it in person, or how do they do it?
So we have in-person support group meetings. We actually are in a suite off of State Street. It's kind of like right behind Taco Bell's. Diagonal is Building B. Actually, the beautiful part about that is that I was seeing a therapist at that time. Her name is Mitzi Heineman. And
one of your board members.
Yep, she's one of my board members.
Along with the doctor.
Yes.
And several others, by the way.
And she's one of my facilitators. And so I just went to a counseling session with her one day and said, hey, this is what I feel like God is asking me to do. I want to start this program, yada, yada, yada. And she was so excited for us. And she said, do you have a place to meet? I said, no, I haven't gotten that far. And so she took me to a room in the suite and kind of just shared with me, that it was just like a storage area, and just pretty much allowed us to be able to meet into this space, for free. And so we were able to get, I think my husband told his club, he's a part of the Forney Club. He's a vice president of the Forney Club now.
Of which I am. Not a vice president, but a member of the club, yeah.
Yeah. And so at that time, he was vulnerable and sharing his story with the Forney Club members, the board members and everything. And they actually blessed us with a gift to be able to purchase like paint and whatever else we needed. And so as I was just being obedient to what I know God has asked me to do, like doors were just opening for us to receive what we needed, such as a place to meet and things that we needed, such as furniture and hope boxes and just different items that we can put into our gift bags that we would give every family who would complete our program.
What's a hope box?
So a hope box is just a self-care box for a bereaved family. So everyone who comes to our support group program, I pretty much just bless them with the items that help me as I recover. So there's a lot of like essential oils or lavender products. This is lotions, socks, maybe gift cards to like some spas. I also give them flowers because for me, I will buy myself flowers as a form of self-care. And it's just like a survival kit for moms, because I really feel like in order for us to nurture someone else, we have to nurture ourselves first.
The demonstration of your passion is this all comes back to you. You are doing this through your experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without it, it would not be the same.
Correct. And so that's how I know that this is purpose. And even though it didn't feel good, I can see that God is working everything for good now. I can see that. And as I was going through the depression, the anxiety, the hallucination, the nightmares, the PTSD, just all of that.
And you did all that, right?
All of that. And yes, it literally was just like a very dark season, years of darkness in my life, in our marriage. It was really, really dark, but I really felt like God was just still like telling me, hold on, I'm right here with you. I'm right here with you. There were times I didn't believe and I still didn't trust God, but I was like, I don't know why I'm going through this. But then I really believe that he is actually taking, like I said, everything that I've gone through. Sometimes you have to become the solution or be a part of it. You have to embody that before you can actually, be used in that way. And so I really believe that he just took my personal experience and my story, and now it's created something so beautiful for others. But it's definitely my lived experience, my lived trauma, and me still being on this just journey of healing, because even though it's been 7 years since we lost our last baby, it doesn't mean that I have forgotten them or, that I'm still not grieving them.
There's an old adage my dad used to preach to me. It's not the problem, it's how you solve it.
Yeah.
And you're living it.
Yes, I am.
You are living it.
Yes.
We're going to take a break, come back, and finish our conversation with Anisha Stanley. Keys of Hope is the organization. KeysOfHopeFoundation.com will get you lots more information.
Gotta go.
Really can fathom, depending on their age, the impact in which this is impacting their entire family. And so we're able to provide them those resources based on their individual needs. So we do still address the children as well. But yes, everyone is expecting, grandparents are also, impacted, or mothers, godfathers, just the entire family, anyone who knew in their inner circle, who was expecting and believing with them, those people are also impacted.
All right, so let's talk about this event coming up this weekend.
Yes. So Saturday, October 11th, we are celebrating 4 years of our Wave of Light event. Is for Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day. So October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Month. And on the 15th of October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day. So we usually have our event closer to the 15th. At our event at 6 p.m., we have community time. So we have some wonderful sponsors and some vendors who will be there, such as Be Well and Covenant Healthcare, Valley OB. The 40 Club is the sponsor as well, Wildfire Credit Union, Garber Buick. And so a lot of them come out and they have vendor tables and are able to provide resources. We have face painting for the children. And this year we have Tom's Traveling Coffee that's going to be there. So from 6 to 7, there's just community time where they can come and take photos at our photo booth area. The children can participate in the activities, but then those families who actually purchase a memorial light cluster are able to decorate this memorial light area where they have like a sign with their baby's name in memory of. At 7 p.m. we have Yvonne Daniels, who's been our gracious, loving, beautiful host for the past 4 years.
Our colleague down the hall.
She's there, and she leads us in our program. And so what we do is we have a word of encouragement to the families. We talk about Wave of Light. What is Wave of Light? Why are we here? We read the proclamations that Ronald and I were able to submit and have them actually written up from our governor as well as our mayor, Brenda Moore, here in Saginaw. And we actually do a reading of the name ceremony, so families are able to submit the names of their babies, because we want to read their names, we want to say their names, we want to keep them alive in memory. And then we also take a walk through twinkling lights. And so we have this iconic walk of pink, blue, and white lights that we walk through.
Where is this all done?
This is at the Saginaw Soccer Township.
Saginaw Township.
Yep, Saginaw
Soccer
Township
Complex.
Soccer Complex. Absolutely,
Okay.
yep. So 6 o'clock community time. Ceremony starts at 7
Is it a
p.m.
fundraiser? Is there a cost?
Well, no, it is free. Again, it's just for the community to be able to finally have a space, a sacred space to come out to honor their memory of their babies. A lot of families may have lost their baby in utero, so they don't have a memorial space to go to, right? Or even those who may be grieving in silence, who never even told anyone that they were pregnant, but they want this time to be able to come out in community and just be with those finally, especially during this month, which is Remembrance Month, to be able to honor their babies in heaven and to finally find community. And sometimes, you know, it's a little bittersweet because it's like you get there and you may see someone that you did not know also lost a baby. And so it's just a beautiful thing just to see that different people, different calibers, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, we all can come together for this common cause. But we're here to remember our children, but also to support one another.
I mean, is this